and the law will provide incentives for you to retire in this great city of Nairobi. And that will be extended to you, Mr. Secretary General, just in case. Just in case you consider retiring in this city of Nairobi, because we have a great relationship with the UN family, UN staff who work out of here. They have become part and parcel of the Kenyan family, and we want to make sure that they can enjoy the city of Nairobi and enjoy Kenya beyond their working experience here. We look forward to deepening our partnership with the United Nations at Nairobi as Nairobi continues to grow as a center of global diplomacy and a symbol of international cooperation for generations ahead. Thank you very much, and enjoy your stay in Nairobi. Asante sana.
Thank you, Your Excellency, President Ruto, for your remarks. Excellencies and distinguished guests, we now come to the highlight of today's ceremony, the groundbreaking for the UNON New Assembly Hall and Conference Facilities Project. I kindly invite the following 10 to come forward for the ceremonial turning of the soil. Ms. Anna Claudia Rosbach, UN Undersecretary General and Executive Director for the UN Human Settlements Program, UN Habitat. Ms. Inga Anderson, UN Undersecretary General and Executive Director, UN Environment Program, UNEP. Mrs. Zainab Hao Bangura, UN Undersecretary General and Director General of UNON. His Excellency, Mr. William MacDonald, Permanent Representative of Barbados to the United Nations in Kenya and Chair of the Advisory Board of the Conference Facilities Project. Her Excellency, Dr. Aida Odinga, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Kenya to UNON and UNEP. Dr. Chris Kipto, Principal Secretary, the National Treasury. His Excellency, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Government of Kenya. Ms. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. I would now like to invite Mr. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, and His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, to come forward. I also invite members of the media, yes, to come forward, thank you, to the designated media area for the official photo opportunity. These shovels have been specially made with wood harvested from a tree in the compound, so it's been recycled. And I would now invite you all to use the shovels to turn the top of the soil for this historic occasion. Another round of applause. I will now invite His Excellency the President and the Secretary of the United Nations to share a few words with the media right there, after which they and their delegations and the media will depart to the second part of our program. I request that the rest of our distinguished guests remain seated, and I'll provide more information on the next segment of the program. Thank you. Over there. Secretary General, if you'd like to share some reflections on this occasion. We're going to get a mic. Where the mics?
Check.
Just do it from
Check.
the podium then. No.
So, I have made my comments already on this very consequential ceremony. An investment of close to $340 million to expand the infrastructure and facilities, especially the conference facilities in this campus, and for which we are truly grateful to the Secretary General's leadership and the UN member states for providing the resources for this facility to be built. And as I have said, there will be complementary investments by the government of Kenya to support the investments being made by member states and the UN family here in Nairobi. We will be improving mobility around the city of Nairobi by building an extra 267 kilometers. It's a program I launched 2 months ago. We will also be enhancing water availability. We are investing in some of our water resources to make sure that we have additional resources and additional water in this campus and in the city of Nairobi. We will be investing in making Nairobi much more beautiful and cleaner. And we will be lighting the city of Nairobi. We are going to roll out initially 40,000 lights around the city of Nairobi, and then followed by another 50,000 to make it 90,000 before the end of this year. Again, to improve livability in the city of Nairobi for all the residents of the city of Nairobi, including the UN family that live with us here. This is a very important occasion for us. We are truly grateful to the Secretary General and the UN family and the member states for making this project a success. And we look forward to partnering with the UN going into the future, and for all the things that we do together, thanking the Secretary General for his advocacy, for his voice on matters that affect the Global South, from the international financial architecture. And I have had occasion to share this with the Secretary General, that the Global South is depending on him to use his voice to advocate, not just for the reform of the international financial architecture, but to also support the new Africa financial architecture that we have designed, and also what we have done in Kenya with our new National Infrastructure Fund, so that we can have a multiplicity of interventions to make sure that we deal with the challenge of debt, we deal with the challenge of access to concessional resources at scale. And we have made proposals which we hope to carry with the Secretary General all the way to every fora, including the G7 that is going to be held in a month's time, and all the other multilateral fora that we will find as a way of finding solutions. It's been for a very long time that this continent, the Global South, is about problems, conflict, disease, poverty. We're changing that altogether. even as we carry out the French-Africa Summit in Nairobi, it is contextualized differently, that this continent is not about it's not about aid, it's not about loans. This continent is about ideas, solutions, and investments. And that is the conversation we are having in Nairobi, different from other conversations that have been had before. And therefore, I am looking forward to working with the Secretary General and the UN family here in Nairobi as we fashion solutions for the challenges that face our nations and our continent, and providing global solutions to global challenges. We're very proud on behalf of the government and people of Kenya of this investment, and we look forward to working together. Mr. Secretary General.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, this complex would not be possible without the enormous generosity and hospitality of the government and people of Kenya. The government of Kenya has been absolutely essential to create the conditions to allow for the biggest campus in the UN globally to offer to the United Nations exceptional conditions to work and to serve the people we care for in Africa and around the world. Dear President William Ruto, thank you very much for what has been a continued support and a strong investment in allowing the UN to be able to be present here. Dynamism, with enthusiasm, and with the will to contribute to the Africa that you have just described. And indeed, we want to be part of this transformational Africa strategy that is overcoming once for all what was the legacy of colonialism. I usually say that Africa was a double victim of colonialism. First of all, because what colonialism represented in itself and the suffering that it brought. But second, because of the legacy of for a continent in which the infrastructure that had been built was not to connect the Africans among themselves, was not to develop the African economy, it was to allow for the extraction of African resources to the benefit of developed countries. And I see today in Africa, in its use, in its dynamism, in its initiative, a will that once and for all end that legacy and create an African continent with a role among equals in the international community. And I have to say that I'm also enthusiastic about the commitment that I see in African governments, not only to advocate for justice in international relations, but to mobilize their own national resources for the benefit of the development of their countries. Having said so, my voice will remain loud and clear in saying that we live in a situation that is deeply unfair. It is not acceptable that African countries pay more than 3 times more than developed countries in order to obtain the loans they need for the development. Many of these countries with a more solid financial situation and better development perspectives than developed countries that obtain resources with much lower cost. This is absolutely unacceptable. On the other hand, the truth is that because in 1945 Africans were not at the table, the institutions, the Security Council of the United Nations, the Bretton Woods system, the essential institutions of governance in the world were done without an African presence. And Africa paid a huge price for that. And that is the reason why we are claiming that there will be no justice before there will be permanent African members in the Security Council, and there will be no justice before Africa has its right share in the quotas of the IMF or in the capital of the World Bank or in the many other institutions, for the African interests to be much more seriously taken into account by the international financial architecture. And the African continent can count on me. I will always be at your side to correct injustices and to make sure that the world recognizes that there is a price that the world must pay in order to overcome all the injustices that Africa has suffered, and to support what is now this transformational enthusiasm that I see in the African continent, and of which Kenya and the President of Kenya are two very clear examples. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency and Mr. Secretary General. Excellencies, distinguished guests, we have come to the end of this part of our program. The next segment will be the inauguration of the new offices by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary
Big man. You remember you brought me all the way here?
Yes.
The last time when I was alone, I didn't get this kind of I was not driven all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I was dropped somewhere.
His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Mr. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General. Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, distinguished guests, we are now ready to begin this segment of the program. We thank the Secretary General and the Government of Kenya, led by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for this significant milestone and for both your contributions to this United Nations Gigiri complex. I now invite you both to unveil the plaque to inaugurate these new buildings at the UN office at Nairobi. Thank you very much. We will now have a set of photographs alongside the two principals, and we will begin with the Government of Kenya. I would like to invite His Excellency Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Chris Kipto, Principal Secretary, the National Treasury, Deputy Director John Kiungu, Her Excellency Dr. Aida Odinga, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Kenya to UNON and UNEP, Her Excellency Ms. Susan Nakumicha Wafula, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Kenya to UN Habitat, and His Excellency Mr. Ekitela Lokale, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Kenya to the United Nations in New York. So that will be the first photograph.
Come this side.